Coming up on DITV, closing its doors, the UI is shutting down its labor center. Hear why some community members are fighting to keep it alive.
And later, it's that time of the year again. Hear what performances you can see at Hancher this season.
And coming up in sports, we hear more about the Iowa football teams regarding the Game 1 suspension.
And we have the Daily Iowan sports editor Pete Rudin standing by live in the newsroom with more on this weekend's athletic schedule.
You can say goodbye to that sunshine and hello to a watery wasteland. Your local forecast coming up.
All that and more coming up on this Thursday morning edition of DITV News.
Don't go anywhere. DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Bo Bowman.
And I'm Mackenzie Cooper. When students and staff arrived in Iowa City for the fall semester, some were surprised to hear that the Labor Center would be closing. Others were not exactly sure what its purpose was. I talked to a group who wants to keep its doors open.
The Labor Center is the one place in the entire Regent system of 4 of us who exist to research and serve working people.
When students arrived back in Iowa City this August, they found out that the Labor Center would be closing, a place where students and community members can go to receive education about their rights in the workplace. The Labor Center has been around since 1951. On Wednesday evening, students, Iowa workers, and educators gathered to discuss the impact that the Labor Center has had on them and why it needs to stay around.
For students specifically, this is important because the workers that the Labor Center helps directly interact with us on a daily basis.
Kate Chanu, a senior at the university, planned this meeting because she believes the Labor Center is beneficial for many people. She wanted to inform students what exactly the Labor Center does and why they should care.
So the students should really be focusing on saving the Labor Center. It's a very small part of the budget and it's something that we need to keep.
A hearing will be taking place on September 10th where UI students and faculty, along with community members, will be discussing the impact that the Labor Center has had on them with UI officials.
UISG is making big changes to their recruitment and application process. They hope by updating their process, they will be able to reach more people and eliminate bias. Some of the changes they're making include hiding the names of applicants from committee members. This is an effort to make sure selections are only about the application. They're also working to improve outreach on campus. They have already hosted 2 events this semester, one at Catlett and one at the IMU. Their next event is happening today at Airliner from 4 to 7 p.m. Students will get the chance to talk to UISG members and get questions answered. The organization is currently accepting applications for the 17 seats open in the Senate this fall.
With the City Council primary election less than a week away, a forum was held at the City Hall last night to discuss some key issues. Daily Iowan reporter Chris Burrow was there. He's live in the newsroom. Chris, what were some of the topics discussed last night?
The 5 candidates at the forum on Wednesday discussed a number of issues posed to them by the audience. These included issues of affordable housing for lower-income residents, managing the divide between urban sprawl and protecting farmland, as well as raising minimum wages, managing the city's climate action plan, and also bridging the gap between different city organizations as well as local ones such as the school board, and how they can work with the Iowa City government.
To the candidates' answers to those key topics.
The community itself, about 40 or 50 people attended. They all wanted to see what the different candidates had. They didn't really participate very much in the discussion. It was more the candidates posing arguments on why they should be elected to the voters.
Who is looking like a front runner in the City Council race?
To be perfectly honest, all 5 candidates had very good reasons why they should be the nominee for the City Council membership, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we didn't have a close to 20% split for each candidate.
That was Chris Burrow live in the newsroom. Thanks, Chris. For more on City Council, check out Chris's story on daily-iowan.com.
And with city council elections happening in less than a week, we here at DITV want to keep you informed about who's running in the election.
And every day this week, we will be profiling each candidate to inform you about the things they want to change. And now standing by in the studio to tell us about our fourth candidate is DITV news reporter Sydney Zatz.
Sydney, what can you tell us?
Good morning, guys. Bruce Cheek is our fourth candidate we are featuring this week. Bruce Cheek has been an Iowa City resident for 25 years. He graduated from Iowa City West High School, and then he went on to graduate from Kirkwood and the University of Iowa. He worked at Iowa City Hospice before starting his own business, Caring Hands, and more. He hopes that his previous job experience can bring a different perspective to the city council. Affordable housing is one of his goals, as well as creating livable wages and improving on public transportation in Iowa City. Teague hopes that as someone who has received food stamps and lived in Section 8 housing, he'll be able to help people in these situations uniquely. We here at DITV News will continue telling you about the candidates throughout the week. To find out more information about each candidate and the election, go daily-iowan.com. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Today we have another update from the Jake Wilson case. The medical examiner has identified the remains found in Wolf Creek as those of Jake Wilson. The 16-year-old boy had been missing since April. Authorities are still missing some information that can explain exactly what happened to Wilson, so their investigation is still ongoing. Well, Kenzie, it's been a little sporadic throughout the week. We haven't really seen a cycle with the weather, and it's kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, it has not been consistent at all. I mean, we had tornado warnings the other night. It was a beautiful day yesterday. Well, let's toss it over to Jacob in the weather studio to find out more about what we can expect this weekend. Jacob?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but the storms in Iowa City have been pretty crazy. But the most interesting aftermath is by far the flooding at Kinnick Stadium. Let's take a look at a photo that I'm sure many of you have seen. So as you can see here, this photo was uploaded to Twitter by Matt at Let's Go Hawks 12, and would you just look at that north end zone, completely covered in mud and rainy substance. Taken at 4:40 on Tuesday, this looks pretty bad, right? You think it's enough to reschedule the game on Saturday? Next photo. And then here, posted on Twitter at 7:30, and wow, would you look at that, the field is completely clean. Now there might be a little bit of mud here and there, but a huge improvement from before, and that's all thanks to the UI athletic department. That's just proof that not even Mother Nature can stop Iowa Hawkeye football. Now let's take a look at your local forecast. Today we have a high at 78 degrees with sunny skies and a low percent chance of rain. Moving on to the night hours, we will be looking at a low of 65 degrees with a chance of rain increasing as thunderstorms move into the region. Now looking at your 5-day extended forecast, Friday has a high of 81 degrees and a low of 69 with cloudy skies. Saturday is game day and tragically also rain day. There will be scattered thunderstorms in the area with a high of 84 degrees and a low of 68. Now there is a chance the low pressure system may break up at around kickoff time, but just to be safe, don't forget your poncho on your way out the door. Sunday brings a round of rain with a chance of thunderstorms with a high of 84 and a low of 70. Monday brings, you guessed it, more rain with a high in the lower 80s and low in the lower 60s. And finally, we come to Tuesday, who seems to just be copying all the other days of the week as it brings in yet another day of scattered thunderstorms. Once again, will be in the area with a high of 83 and a low in the mid 60s. Well, it looks like today will be the last day we see the sun in all of its glory for a while. So use your time wisely before the rain comes and washes away all of our happiness. That's all I have for you in the weather studio. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Jacob. This time of year isn't just the start of a new academic year or football season, it's also the beginning of a new theater season at Hancher Auditorium.
That's right, Kenzie. And I've heard that we may be seeing some pretty exciting shows on stage this year. We have DITV reporter Kaylin Cluck standing by in the newsroom with more on what we can expect to see. Kaylin?
Excitement of having a newly constructed theater in the university's backyard hasn't faded, and today I have a brief rundown of what you can expect to see on stage this fall. On September 12th, Hancher kicks off its season with a free lecture given by famed broadcast journalist Cokie Roberts. Then 2 days later, Hancher will throw a free outdoor concert by bluegrass band Steep Canyon Rangers. Last year, Hampshire threw a similar free outdoor concert by Hamilton star Leslie Odom Jr. The concert drew thousands of people to the banks of the Iowa River, and Hampshire hopes to repeat that success this year. Then going deeper into the season, theatergoers can expect to see acts like the Philadelphia Orchestra, the Cashore Marionettes, and Soweto Gospel Choir, just to name a few. But let's face it, the big Broadway performance that so many people are looking forward to is Les Miserables. The beloved musical will be staged 8 times from December 4th through 9th. However, most tickets have already been sold, so if you're still hoping to see it, you'll probably want to purchase them soon. Then rounding out 2018 is a concert by Broadway and screen star Kristen Chenoweth on New Year's Eve. Now, there's plenty more shows in the spring to look forward to as well. And of course, Hampshire is just one venue for entertainment here in Iowa City, and each week I'll be bringing you different options for art and culture here in town. But that's all I have for you today. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, it's finally here. Game week kickoff is only 2 days away, and I couldn't be more excited.
Me either, Bo, but let's toss it over to the sports studio to find out more about what we can expect for the weekend.
Yeah, guys, I can't believe we're only 2 days away from the first game of the year, and I can't wait to get back on Melrose and Kinnick.
Yeah, Nicole, I'm so excited to finally see Iowa swarm out onto that field.
Yes, and I know it will be such an exciting game for you to see as well. Iowa football team will open up for the season this weekend against NIU in Kinnick Stadium, but unfortunately for the Hawkeyes, 4 linemen are suspended for the first game for a violation of team rules.
Redshirt freshman Mark Kallenberger and senior Dalton Ferguson will be filling in on the offensive line against the Huskies on Saturday. Here's what the team and head coach Kirk Ferentz had to say about how they are filling those roles.
There's been a lot of continuity. The last couple weeks, obviously, we've known about this, so just getting to know each other, getting to know how each other works. You know, some might be a little different than what Tristan or AJ does, but I think it's been good, and I think we've been pushing forward.
Both of those guys have done a great job. They've pushed themselves all the way through camp and up until now, so really just excited for them to see their hard work pay off as well.
To have 2 guys out at one position is not ideal. The good news is right now, you know, we have 3 guys I think that have practiced well. We consider all 3 of them. I kind of look at them all the same way, and they'll probably rotate through a little bit, be it Dalton, be it Levi Paulson, or Mark Kallenberger. So those guys have practiced well. We've got great respect for Northern. Their defensive front is veteran, and they're very good at the defensive end position. Probably the only thing that helps a little bit there is, you know, I told our guys, you know, you've been practicing against some pretty good guys too with Hesse and Nelson.
For more on the Game 1 suspensions, check out Daily Iowan sports reporter Anna Kaiser's article in the print version of the paper on Stance Today or on daily-iowan.com.
Iowa football is not the only team in action this weekend.
With more on which Hawkeye teams will be playing this weekend, we have the Daily Iowan sports editor Pete Rudin standing by live in the newsroom with more. Pete, what can you tell us?
Yes, thanks for having me, guys. It's a super busy weekend for Hawkeye sports. On Friday, the soccer team will host Central Michigan in the Hawkeye Invitational. The field hockey team will host Dartmouth in their home opener, and the cross-country team will hold its own Hawkeye Invitational as well. Then on Saturday, the Iowa football team will host NIU in Kinnick, and volleyball will face Colorado in Seattle. And finally, on Sunday, the soccer team will wrap up the Hawkeye Invite against VCU, and field hockey will host Ball State, wrapping up the weekend for Iowa athletics. Guys in the studio, back to you.
Pete Rudin reporting live in the newsroom. Thank you, Pete.
And that's all we have for you today in the Daily Iowan Sports Studio. Guys, back to you.
And that wraps up this Thursday morning edition of DITV.
Thanks for keeping up with us. Have a great day, Iowa City.